Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I am here with news from other dimensions. It is very interesting where we're at. Um, on X, Twitter, they've been saying for a while that something is going to happen. That something may be tonight, tomorrow, the next day. Prophecy is very interesting. Prophecy is to tell us humans where we're going if we stay on the path that we're on. We are going to a place of separation, of two separate vibrations, two separate frequencies. And the separation apparently is not going to be that graceful. But for those who have taken care of the aspects of themselves that are not physical, the aftermath is going to be wonderful. And increasingly, it's called the new earth. Now, I myself saw the earth splitting into two separate planets, which of course sounds so hysterical and so dramatic. This was several years ago. But I have a strict protocol that I was trained under that creates great results. And that's what I saw. I said it, I put it up on YouTube. We got over 500,000 views, probably up to 1 million at this point, because a lot of other people have seen that. And it doesn't seem to be a theoretical separation. It apparently is a very real separation. The Dolphins talked about it in the book that I have up for sale on Amazon. I have it for free on my website in Spanish, but if you don't know Spanish, it's on Amazon. It's called The Gods Speak in the first chapter. And I'm going to talk about that now. In the first chapter, I have what they told me in 1996 when I started to reconnect with them in the Miami Seaquarium. And what they basically said was that there are going to be earth changes, and it's going to be very, very difficult. But some people are going to they're going to be kind of okay. They didn't give any descriptions of what that means. And other people will be left behind. And it was kind of like they would be stripped of everything that's convenient. And that in that process of not having things that entertain them, which we have too much on the physical dimension, people would turn to themselves inside. They would turn to the land, to the earth, to the animals, to the stars, and look for answers. And in that process, they would evolve, and they too would, what we call ascend. I didn't publish that book then, because when I would say dolphins, everybody would go, "Oh, so cute. What do they want to tell us? That the earth is going to end and earth changes." And they did not like me. And of course, they said I was extremely negative. It's not easy to handle this information because really nobody has wanted to hear it for 5,000 years. Why would they want to hear it from me? And why would they want to hear it from the dolphins? But cut to now. Increasingly, the information is that right now is when there is going to be an event, a shift, a split, an opening. I see it with those who follow the solar flares. The astrologers are saying it. Also, the ones that go deeper. So, how do we get ready for this? Well, let's start. Today is Thursday, the 11th, 2024. Lots of panic attacks because we can feel, even if we're not in touch with it consciously, what's going on in the other dimensions. And what's going on in the other dimensions is a breakdown, total breakdown of the Higgs field, which is what creates order on planet Earth. I'm not sure that you can hear that I have a video on of crystal bowls, but let me get up a second and let me turn it off. As you are looking at the gold dress right here and assessing where you're at. This dress was produced in gold and white, very shiny. But there was an issue. That's why it's called the controversial gold and white dress. People see it in blue and bronze. It's not blue and bronze, but if your vibration is low, you will see it in blue and bronze, which worries me because you may end up with the lower vibration. You may end up with the second planet that has a lower vibration and then have to wait a little while before you join everybody else who has a higher vibration. But you can change your vibration very quickly. But I have to say that it all has to do with being able to deal with whatever the truth and the reality is in your life. So I'm going to teach you something that everybody might need today, tomorrow, the next day. And if this does happen in these days, which is the mantra for panic attacks. Go ahead and take your breath to your heart center in between your breasts and center your consciousness there and take your breath there. And repeat in silence without moving the mouth the words, even though I am afraid, I love and accept myself. And just keep repeating it in silence. You'll notice that your shoulders are going to drop. This is a vacuum cleaner mantra. It's a purification mantra. And we had to change the name to vacuum cleaner mantra because too many people said, oh, that's an affirmation. In a sense, it is. You're affirming that you have fear. All human beings do. And at a time like this, polar cap shifts, solar flares, ending of the earth dividing in two, the government falling, the money. Makes sense that you would have fear someplace inside of you. But it is to locate the fear through your breath and intention to vacuum it out. So keep going. Take your breath, your consciousness to the center of your chest and keep repeating, even though I am afraid. I'm writing it up here. That's the clicking of the I love and accept myself. Now, this has been the panic attack mantra for 10 or 15 years. It works. You don't have to live with panic attacks. If you have a tendency to have a lot of panic attacks, then you may need to use this a lot. Right now, you should use it because even if you feel very relaxed, chances are there's a lot of people around you whose lives are not in order or who are in the middle of a evolutionary quantum leap shift in their consciousness, and they will be feeling afraid and panicky. It's going to help them. So go ahead and keep your consciousness, and it's not easy initially. You have to think from the center of your chest. Our eye of consciousness is literally a big eye, and it's usually in different places. It's rarely in the center of the chest. When it is, it's a tremendous relief. It's also an escape hatch if things get really bad, but we're not going to talk about that. So keep breathing, even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself. And I'm going to continue to talk and keep doing the mantra. It's like a mental yoga. You can listen to me at the same time you're doing the mantra. The good thing about the mantras that we came up with, they're very point-specific mantras, and you do not need to focus on them. When you send the words to yourself silently, you're giving instructions to your mind strings, which I will put the graphic up now. Those 72,000 mind streams that extend from the center axis, which is parallel to your spine, they will take that mantra of even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself, and they will go and look for the fear in you. And through your breath, you will process it. It will make a huge difference. Within 1 minute or two, if you're anywhere near a panic attack, you're going to feel a lot better. And one of the first things is your shoulders are going to drop. Keep breathing. One of the things that's very protective of what it is that's going on, which includes a lot of attacks by negative spirits, to the extent that we were given the information that the government has called in the good galactics to kind of help out, and that was just 2 days ago, is the emerald. This was given to me by a very generous friend. This is a piece of emerald. This, the bad ETs do not like this. If you can get it near your ears, like in earrings, it would be a very good thing because it is extremely protective. And we think it's part of the reason why the Galactics are very interested in Ecuador, because they have an awful lot of emeralds. You know, in the movies, Star Wars and a lot of movies, the bad ETs come in and they do this mining and they want to take these minerals. Totally accurate. Totally accurate. It's not just a story. So our group that does mantras, they're called mantristas. You're welcome to join them. If you do mantras, you're automatically a member. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to pay dues. It's just a movement of using a device that liberates the mind, which is a mantra. That's a definition of a mantra. So if you use a mantra, you're liberating your mind creates reality. And we have created a pretty awful reality, which is why this that appears to be ready to happen now and has been prophesied for over 5,000 years ago, and in the Bible 2,000 years ago, and the dolphins in the 90s, etc. Prophecy is to tell you where you're going to end up if you don't get off the path that you're on. And we haven't really gotten off that path. But enough of us have been able to feel the need to pay less attention to the development of our physical body with working out and looking gorgeous and clothing and where we live. Enough of us that there's enough people with a high enough vibration because they purified the stuff that was dragging them down, that we have moved towards a place where I don't know what percentage of people, but a significant percentage of people will be making a shift to what they are calling now the new earth that I never believed in. Barbara Marciniak wrote a book, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was very successful. It was like the Bible of the New Age movement. We all loved it. And then she wrote a second book called The New Earth, and we all were like, what is she talking about? And nobody finished reading it, and nobody bought it. Nobody recommended it. I need to go and find it because I think she's talking about what comes up next for a lot of us. Those that have raised their frequency, their vibration, because they have dealt with their fears, past traumas. It's not a question of being a good person or a bad person at all. On planet Earth, a bad person many times is more of all what we call a bad person than those of us that want to be nice. If you're being nice and you have repressed what you're really feeling to the extent that you don't even know that you are angry at your father because he wasn't so great, or you hate your sister because she used to steal your money or whatever. If you're so nice and you just kind of, all that's okay, and you're not really in touch with how you really felt emotionally, because you are a human being, you feel things. That's the kind of stuff you keep carrying with you. That's what makes your whole aura so heavy and your vibration so low. So being angry is not bad. It's when you swallow the anger and you hold it in that it becomes a problem. It makes your frequency lower. So keep going with the even though I'm afraid. I love and accept myself. So in our chat last night, and the Mantrista movement, we have been working for several years with different countries and regions of the world where we have seen that there's troubles and we want to help out. We had a time a year and a half ago in which we went to the 20 countries in the Americas, and we purified the root, what could be causal for violence in the future. This is very interesting because almost all of the countries had to swallow their rage in the past when the conquistadors, Many of the Spaniards came in, took over the country, killed the natives, destroyed their culture, and the natives weren't able to do anything. They could not fight back, and they didn't do mantras, and they didn't go to therapy. They just swallowed their rage. And that's in the land. That was in the land of almost all of the countries. I would say 90% of them. Now, this is just like what happened in New York City after 9/11. They didn't process their rage, and 6 weeks after 9/11, there was an earthquake epicenter in New York City. So we see here a pattern of connection between repressed emotions and natural catastrophes. And the planet has gotten very civilized. I mean, you just don't express your rage, and you have to be nice even to the people that are beneath you, et cetera, et cetera. And there is no opportunity for processing your human reaction of this is mine. Why should I give it to somebody who has less? This doesn't make any sense. Oh, no, 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 no. You're not allowed that. You're supposed to be democratic and generous and whatever. These storylines that we have created, and we have not also created systems for dealing with the fact that, yes, we are angry. And I was just telling the Mantrista movement this week that several years ago I tried to do a chat on psychic surgery. We were going to go and learn how to put our hands inside of people and pull out tumors. It was 6 weeks, and it was a running battle with the group. And the final conclusion we came to, because we did not get into psychic surgery, and we go where the information takes us, which is what in my training we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to go where we want to go. We have an intention, but if we want to go there to get to that intention, but the information's taking us over here, we got to go there. And that's what we did. The final conclusion was that in the future, when you get sick and you need surgery, you go to the surgeon and he says, okay, I need to see your certificate of intention. What was that? Certificate of intention in the future is you go to a specialist and the specialist checks you. You're sick. Okay, you're sick. We know that. What's your intention? Did you get sick to help your granddaughter because there's too much attention paid to her? And if you get sick, then the whole family will turn to you and the granddaughter will be less of a brat, like one family that I knew? Or is your intention that you really, you know what, you don't really want to be here anymore? You want to leave, in other words, die, but you got sick and you're not consciously aware that you got sick because you intended it. So the person who works with you, the intention specialist, will work with you. And between the two of you, you'll figure out what your real intention is with this illness. If your intention is to get well, you get this little certificate. You take it to the surgeon, you go, okay, got your certificate, let's schedule the surgery. If you don't get that certificate, the surgeon is going to say, I can't do surgery on you. You could die on the surgery table. You don't intend on living. Why are you trying to put me through this? That's the way we've lived on the planet. We have put everybody through all sorts of things when we created it. Intention, intention creates reality. And then we get to this mess where we are today. So truth is what's going to liberate you. And you still have maybe hours, maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe months in which you can align with your truth. Truth doesn't mean that you stab your mate because you hate him so much. No. Truth may be you doing the mantra, even though I hate him so much, I want him dead. I love and accept myself. Even though I hate him so much, I want him dead. I love and accept myself. Because that's the truth. It doesn't mean you kill him. And then being it that you accept that you feel that way, if you didn't process enough of that hatred that you really want him dead, then maybe you have the intention of when it can happen, it's your intention to separate. Because the truth of the matter is you're not going to get over whatever it is that caused you to feel that you hated this person who's your mate so bad you want him dead. But maybe it's just a passing thing because of something that happened that you didn't get over. In the process of doing the mantra, you clear it. You have hours or days or weeks now. You can do this. Are you still putting a smile on your face because that's what everybody wants? Right now, it's all about you and you and you and you and you and the truth. The dress shows the truth. I am seeing the dress gold and white. The lower part has some bronze in it. So yes, I'm having some issues with truth on the lower chakras. That's true. One day years ago, and I'm sure it's happened, I just have not looked at the dress at that point. I had a rage attack, and the dress was brown and bronze. It was not white and gold. And that morning it was white and gold. I changed my frequency. It's all this anger that I was holding. And in those years, I didn't have the benefit of the point specific mantras that I'm offering you today. So you can take that photograph, which you'll find very easily on the internet, controversial gold and white dress, print it out and put it someplace where you can see it and work with it very diligently starting from tonight. You need to know what's important. Where are the biggest lies in your life? Is your biggest lie that you're a thief? Did you steal? And you're lucky nobody has found that out yet? Deprogram that. Even though I'm a thief, I love and accept myself. Or even though I'm ashamed I'm a thief, I love and accept myself. Or even though I'm afraid they're going to find out that I stole, I love and accept myself. Whatever the truth is. And just keep deprogramming. It doesn't mean you have to confess. It doesn't mean you have to go to jail. It means that you have to be centered with your reality. And if you're centered and rooted and grounded, that dress is going to get gold and white. Your frequency is going to rise. What makes your frequency light is truth. It is not being a good person. If you have too many images in your mind strings of murders and rapes and all these things from all these shows that we see that we seem to be addicted to, and you're a very frustrated person, but you always have this smile on your face, you're going to have a very hard time because your vibration is going to be very low. And every time the Schumann resonance shows this big influx of light, and I don't understand those graphs yet. I need to understand them because they seem to relate to the sketches that I do during these events. They relate to this. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. So we are right now at the edge of an abyss, and we will go into it, or we will be lifted up. Is God going to come down and get us? No. No, God is not going to come and get us. I suspect it will be like it was in Atlantis at the end, but Atlantis did not evolve successfully. Atlantis, some people were rescued from the catastrophes. A lot of people died violent deaths. And then people had to come back, and we had to go through the whole cycle again to see if we couldn't, as one unit, evolve as a planet. Not going to happen. The conclusion was reached by who and when, I have no idea. Not going to happen. We're not going everyone at the same time. Many of us are going to not fall into that abyss. Not sure where we're going, but apparently they call it the new earth, and it's going to be kind of okay, if not really great. I don't know. And the other ones that are not ready are going to be stripped of all conveniences, luxuries, the stuff that we think we can't live without. They're going to learn to live without it. When you live more simply, you become very connected to things that are very important for the human spirit, the human astral body. And in that process, your choices are different. And in that process, what the dolphins reassured me was that the group that gets left behind does not get left behind permanently. They will have to go through some stuff, and then they will also evolve. In Atlantis, when we did, in 1999, we did regressions of several people who wanted to find out who they were in past lives, etc. The girl that did the regressions, her name was Margaret Fye, very famous regressionist from England. When she took the people back to their past life in Atlantis, when Atlantis was going under from all the catastrophes, what the people described, the individuals, she did it with several of them, they all described the same thing. They were kind of lifted up in like these little bubbles, and they went up into like a big bubble. And I'm looking for it because I drew it for us. And it says, lifted from the horse. This was on the 5th. And they got lifted up, and from this big bubble, which felt like a bubble, and they described it like a bubble. They didn't describe it like a spaceship, but I guess it probably was. I don't know. They could see the people in Atlantis dying horrific deaths. So Atlantis did not evolve successfully. The only group that evolved successfully were the Mayans. And we've been trying to figure out what it is that they did that had them evolve gracefully, which is what didn't happen in Atlantis, which again, today, the planet, rather than us all going together to the next stage of human evolution, we're going to be two groups. And that was where we started with the whole controversial two Earths. And that was where, wow, I was fighting tooth and nail my psychic information. I was like, I do not want to say this. I don't want to say that I see the planet dividing in two. I don't want to say this. I sound like the crazy people in the New Age movement, but that's what I saw. So I said it. But apparently a lot of people were seeing it and saying it. So at least I wasn't alone. But I was really uncomfortable with that. But you know, it makes sense because the law of attraction is like, right today, the most important law, not the law of intention. So if you have a group of people that are very dense and very heavy and they're very angry about their lives, even if it's legitimately angry, they're heavy, they're holding on to this anger and resentment and they have the right to be angry, and they do. Then you have this other group that kind of understands the way things are done on planet Earth and the rules, and that whatever bad happened to you, you actually needed because it was something that you needed to do a self-adjustment in. This group that kind of understood that and cleared traumas, etc. The two frequencies are too different. Law of attraction, they can't be together. They're too different. They cannot stay. We couldn't lift off to the next stage as a group because there's two different frequencies. So it would appear from what it is that I'm seeing, what it is that I'm sensing, what it is that opened up the day of the eclipse, which I said nothing was going to happen that day. It did. Opinions are just opinions, and then you see it, and then you have to go back and apologize for having an opinion. Something is going to happen, something very big. Is it going to happen tonight, tomorrow, the next day? It could actually. It could. So back to the Mantrista movement and our reunion yesterday. We were going to go to Peru. Peru is the country, the only country that never let go of their belief in ETs and the fact that there were bad ones. The only country that was willing to stand up and say, we believe in that. And we were supposed to go back to help them out with some clearings of the land, etc. And then we went to Ecuador. So here's the story about Ecuador. In 1949, Israel was made a state. And people knew there would be a lot of anger, but I don't think they were aware that there could have been a third world war that would have been started by that event, by the creating of a state for Israel. The country of Colombia, their spirit knew that, the way we all know in our spirit form, we know everything. And they decided to take on the excess violence in Jerusalem that could have triggered a third world war. 6 weeks after Israel was made a state. That's 6 weeks with the earthquake in New York. The event, that taking on, and it's through a channel, like mind streams are channels, that event triggered a historical event which is called El Bogotazo in Colombia, 6 weeks after Israel was made a state. And it started a cycle of incredible violence in a country that was not known for violence. And it lasted for many, many years. The country is still not recuperated. That ended. There was no start of a third world war because the energies that would have started the third world war were taken on by Colombia, the country of Colombia in Latin America. 5 years ago, I told a friend of mine who's from Ecuador, I told her the story. And every time I tell that story to somebody who's a little bit knowledgeable from Latin America, they go, that makes sense. And I would have thought they would have all said, Francis, you completely lost it now. They don't say that. Very instinctive. That makes sense. And I said to this friend of mine, listen, I think that Ecuador is going to take on the energies the next time there's an issue with Jerusalem, which the people throughout probably hundreds of years, I don't know if it's more than that, have predicted that the ending of the world is going to be initiated by war in Jerusalem. So I said this to her because it was the information I got. And she went, oh, that's interesting. Okay. A very intellectual person. And several weeks ago, we went to Ecuador to check the energies, and Ecuador is processing the excess violence in Jerusalem. We were able to see the channel that dumps that energy of violence into Ecuador. So what I told the Mantrista group was, let's go ahead and get that channel and dump it into a river that leads to the ocean, which we did. But it was really very difficult. It was very complicated. The channel kept getting clogged up. The ETs kept coming and tying the channels so that it wouldn't flow, which means it would back up into Jerusalem. So we said, we need to come back here and finish, which is what we did yesterday. Well, we were fighting a battle that we were not going to win, because that is happening involves those darn ETs that too many people don't believe in. And we were not going to win. And what I was told, and I shared with the group, and that's what we're going to be doing as a group, with me leading. They can do whatever they want because everybody's free. The Mantrista movement, you can do whatever you want. We're not supposed to go back there because we are not going to win that battle. We are not going to win. And we personally are going to lose. So what the dolphins said to me, and I will read to you this message, and those of you that can, just keep doing the mantra, even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself. Don't even think about it. Just keep repeating. Let me give you the message that they gave. Let me read it to you. Okay. Give me a second. Wouldn't it be interesting if I cannot find it now? Dolphins. Here we go. So I asked them last night what to do, because we didn't want to give that up. We hadn't even gotten to Peru, which we have promised to help out there. So the dolphins said, all is falling into place for the final battle between light and dark. And you are not supposed to be there. You as us as a group, which includes me and includes you, not supposed to be there. Hold your ground in your life so that the messes and problems do not land on you. Resist the temptation to help. You did all you could, and that's true. We did do all that we could, and we were willing to do more. And the dolphins continued. Being spiritually sophisticated means you know when to retire from a battle you will not win. The battle is for the old earth, which needs to end. You stabilize your life and prepare for the new earth. That was a dolphin message, 10th of April, 2024. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So I just gave you a mantra for panic attacks, because even if you're shifting and getting relieved of having to go through the mess, there's still going to be a lot of panic because people are not going to know what's happening. So that mantra, whereas you might not need it as much, you may have a nephew, a child, a friend, a neighbor, a roommate that it panics, and that transfers to you. That's the problem with humans. That's why the Buddha supposedly said, until the last human being is healed, we're all going to be sick. So that mantra, if you're in a group and everybody's panicking, oh my God, the lights are out, there's no internet, whatever, you just sit there, you talk, whatever, and then you just sit there and you keep doing the mantra, even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself, and keep doing it. And you will be a vacuum cleaner for the group. You will help to get them to where they can actually think. Because when there's too much emotion, you cannot think. I'm going to set up a protocol between today and tomorrow, and I will present it tomorrow. I will be doing this event tomorrow, even though, tomorrow's Friday. So yes, I am scheduled to do it. And we're putting these into podcasts on Spotify and Apple iTunes or whatever, what is how do they call it? I don't remember. So you're able to get it through podcasts. The point that I'm making is we are at the end. And if the Schumann resonance wasn't telling us that, everybody who is saying it is feeling it, and the dolphins said it. And I'm going to repeat again what they said because it's so important. And then we're going to do a mantra and finish today with a mantra. The dolphins, about the ending of the world, and this was yesterday. All is falling into place for the final battle, and you are not supposed to be there. Hold your ground in your life so the messes and problems don't land on you. Resist the temptation to help. You did all that you could. That's true. Being spiritually sophisticated means you know when to retire from a battle you will not win. The battle is for the old earth, which needs to end. You stabilize your life and prepare for the new earth. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the telegram mantra, which has to do with faith, because you're going to need faith if the things happen the way people are saying it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think it's going to be difficult, even if you end up in the right place. So let's go ahead and the telegraph mantra, all the mantras are done in silence. You don't move your mouth with the words. You expel the breath through your mouth. The telegram mantra for faith, and remember, in order for us to remain prosperous as a country in the United States, we have to have market confidence, which is faith in the market. So this is going to help also economically, especially if we can get a lot of people to do it. And the words are, I trust, I trust, I trust, and you just keep repeating it. I could say mindlessly because you don't really have to think. You repeat it and you direct it. Actually, don't direct it. Direct it to your root energy center, which is in between your legs. It's the bottom of the torso. So direct it there. And there's another little exercise that you can do that's very interesting. And you get the sphincter, your anus sphincter, the muscles in your anus, and you go like this. Go ahead and do it now. And you're going to notice your breathing changes. And if you're talking, you're going to talk slower. You're going to be more relaxed, and you won't be like jumping out of your seat, because you're going to be, through that motion, you're exercising the root chakra. Your spirit body is going to come in more fully into your physical body. When you die, your spirit detaches from your physical body. It has exactly the same size, etc., as your physical body. But half the time, it's kind of like half out of the envelope. These bodies are called envelopes of consciousness. So your envelope of consciousness of the physical body, a lot of times it doesn't really have your spirit nicely tucked into it. This exercise will help. So you can go ahead and start with this mantra. We're going to do 10 minutes, 2 feet on the ground. You can do the Apana Mudra. the two middle fingers touching the thumbs, and you can put it on the top of your thighs. And I'm going to put the music that has to do with faith, which are the higher chakras, but I want it drawn into the lower energy centers because of our fears. So give me 1 second. There we go. And we're going to do 10 minutes. And I'm going to sketch you from the beginning, and then I'm going to sketch you a little bit into this repetition of the telegram mantra of I trust, to see what the changes are, so that you can see that it does change you. I do a collective sketch. So go ahead and start. I decided to make it only 5 minutes because as I was typing up the next mantra, I realized that there's no reason why you can't start practicing tonight what the Mayans were able to do that made them the only civilization in the history of the planet that evolved gracefully, which means they very gracefully let go of their physical envelope, physical body, and their spirit ascended. So we have this mantra, and I never thought I would reach the day when I would actually be able to use it like now. Please, God, help us with our intention to evolve gracefully like the Mayans. I'm going to put some music on, but we're going to do something that honestly I should have done more with the Mantrista movement group. Even though I think we were doing it because when we worked with the countries and we were helping them, it was our spirit bodies that was showing up in mass to the countries and was working. Our physical bodies were in our homes. I was here in my office, but my spirit was there together with hundreds of other spirits of people that are still alive. Your spirit is an envelope of consciousness of yours that you have since I think conception. And it detaches the last time from your physical envelope of consciousness when your physical body dies. But you always have it, but you're not in control of it. The Mayans learned to control it. So now you are now in kindergarten and you need to go to 7th grade by Monday, having to do with your control of your spirit. When they say in Star Wars, may the spirit be with you, they are saying, may you, your physical body, envelope of consciousness, your spirit, astral body, be totally together. And when that happens, you're very powerful. May the force be with you. But now we need for the force to be separated from the physical, because this is what gets left behind. This is what is disposable every incarnation. So I already figured out the mental yoga exercise you are going to do and go, oh no, I don't know how to do that. Just have the intention. I wasn't able to see anything in the other dimensions for 40, 50 years. And yet I could perceive it and I understood it. So if you can't see something, I don't want to hear it because there's a part of you that can, the same as for me. Mine was from trauma. Who knows what yours is from if you're not able to visualize? But it doesn't matter. You can still do this. So you're going to repeat this mantra in silence, very relaxed. You are going to send your spirit body, which is your astral emotional body, your spirit body, you are going to send it to the Miami Circle, which is a Mayan site that was discovered 10, 12 years ago. And it's where the ocean, the bay, flows into the Miami River. And I'm really familiar with it, so it's going to be easier for me to anchor you there than to choose a site that I'm not that at home with. So the Miami Circle, where is it? You don't need to know. Because when it comes to intention, all you have to do is be fully intended. You don't wander around, well, where is it? Your intention is that you're going to be at the Miami Circle. And you will be, unless you get into your own way and you become a control freak. Don't be a control freak. We don't have time for that. So you're going to go to the Miami Circle, a Mayan site with stones that were used for rituals. And I'm going to be there. And I want you to go there. You can sit on the ground as if I'm this big guru master. No, you can walk around or you can sit on the ground. Or they have big stones. You can sit on the stones. I want you to be there. As you're repeating this mantra, I want you to take in the energy of the Miami Circle, which is a sacred site that has been activated. It has a huge green pyramid sometimes it's white. And I want you to repeat this mantra there. And I'm going to be there. I may talk to you. You may talk to me. Or you may do nothing because you're now going to be practicing up what the Mayans perfected, which is why they were the only people in the history of humanity that evolved gracefully. That is why in archaeology, it's the big question mark. What happened to the Mayans? And the latest information came through, I think, in December. There was an expedition to Central America. They thought maybe there was a drought, and that's how come they all disappeared from one day to the next. They came back and they said there was no drought. There was no issue with food. We don't know why they disappeared. They disappeared from the physical dimension. They shifted, which is what we may be doing this weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe it'll take 6 weeks, maybe 6 years. I don't think so. So the mantra you repeat in silence, please God, help us with our intention to evolve gracefully like the Mayans. Your intention is to go to the Miami Circle and do whatever it is, whatever you might want to do there, and I will be there. And when we come back, you might have things that you go, oh my God, I talked to you, I saw my cousin there. We don't know. That's the exciting thing about doing this stuff. We don't know. And okay, so go ahead and start. And I'm going to do the same music. Okay. Remember not to move your mouth with the words. Okay. Okay. Lots of you, everyone in bubbles, individual bubbles, like it was layered deep. Then all of a sudden, it became almost like a serpent. And then it formed into the flower of life, that symbol. And we all became one. These are like those meditations I've seen for years that I've always been, I've scoffed at them. Sorry, but I say what I see, and this is what I see. So you now have a place where you can go and practice separating your spirit from your physical body. And you can, from there, or even before, your spirit can go to your friend's house, to your mate who's watching TV, and say, come on, to their spirit, not out loud. Everything is telepathy, other dimensional, and the personalities, unfortunately, generally do not react because we are so disconnected from our spirits. It's kind of pathetic. I'm going to tell you a story about that that may help to reinforce that reality. Many years ago, I was able to see people plus their spirit. It was very disconcerting because the spirit would stand there and the person would be talking to me and the spirit would go, what? No, what they're saying is not true. That's not true. In other words, they're not happy. This is not okay with them. And their personality, their body is sitting there, everything's fine. And their spirits go, And then I had an experience after a dinner that I gave one night. I went, got ready for bed. I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden, a couple that was at the dinner, their spirits showed up in my bedroom. And I'm like, okay. And the husband sat on the bed, and the wife stood by the door. They're spirits. And the wife said, listen, it's okay that you guys be together. I was like, we were not a couple. I just knew them. She said, but you really can't make it like a really big deal because we have to finish processing certain things, selling the house and all the rest of this. But you can go ahead and start up now if you want. The guy's sitting there, his spirit, my physical body, my spirit is up, and I'm going, what? I had not really had that experience before in such a bizarre way. And I told it to a friend of mine. I said, this weird thing happened. This guy's not even interested in me. I'm not interested. She said, no, he is interested. And I have heard that they are going to be separated. What? Anyway, nothing happened there. The point of the matter is that their spirits were crystal clear as to what their intentions and desires were. But their personalities weren't. The fact that people knew that they might be separating were like subtle things, not something that was openly. So it's really confusing because you may go and tell your husband who's watching TV and say, your spirit say to his spirit, come on, let's go. And he can be sitting there ill-humored, whatever. And his spirit go, oh, I'm so glad you asked. Let's go. And you're going to be, wait a second, but that's not. Big disconnect between us and our spirits that are totally truthful. And that is the problem. We will be back here tomorrow night and take it from there. Thank you.